Okay, so now let's work on question 8. Okay, question 8 is ABC Corporation. Okay, see. ABC Corporation, a private corporation, received its articles of incorporation on January 5th, 2024. So they started the company legitimately on January 5th, 2024. It is authorized to issue unlimited number of common shares and preferred shares $1 dividends per share. It had the following share transactions during the year. January 12th, issued 55,000 common shares for $5 per share. January 24th, issued 1050 common shares in payment of a $6,450 bill for legal services. June 8th, issued 1,100 preferred shares for $25 per share. October 1st, issued 11,000 common shares in exchange for land. The land's fair value was estimated to be $60,500. ABC accountant estimate the fair value of share issued might be as high as $6 per share. Number 1, journalize the share transactions. Number 2, calculate the average per share amount for common shares. So first we need to do the journal entry, okay? So let's see, January 12th. So they issued 55,000 common shares for $5 per share. So what has increased? What has increased? So they issue
common shares
for cash. Common shares increased. Do I debit or credit?
Debit common shares.
Debit common shares? Okay. So if I debit common shares, you mean I need credit cash?
Yes.
Okay. So if I credit cash means I'm using cash, right? So if I credit cash, my cash balance will decrease, right? So I'm using cash.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not using cash. I am collecting cash, right?
Yes. Cash is increasing.
So should I debit cash then? Right? Debit cash for 275,000. What should I credit?
Common
shares. Common shares are equities, right? So when you credit equity, you increase the balance. So your common shares increased to 75,000. So I'm going to write a memo saying to record the issuance of 55,000 common shares for $5 per share. Okay? Are we okay with this journal entry?
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's move on to the next, January 24th. So this is the case that they issued a common share not for cash, but for a service, right? Legal service. So in this case, does common shares increase? Does common shares increase?
Yes.
Okay, should I debit or credit the common shares?
If they increase, we should credit.
Yes, credit common shares. Okay, and then I should not debit cash, right? Because they didn't issue common shares for cash, but for service. What should I debit?
Legal services.
What should I debit? So I cannot debit cash, right? Because I didn't receive cash. I received the service. So what should I do? Debit what?
Is it maybe like legal expense or something like that?
Yeah, legal expense, right? So that's 66455, right? This one is to record the issuance of 1,050 shares, common shares, in exchange for legal service. Okay. So are we okay with this journal entry? Are we okay with this journal entry?
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's go to June 8th. So issued 1,100 preferred shares for $20, $25 per share. To record 1,100. So this time is not common share. Preferred shares for $25 per share. So what should I do? What should I debit? What should I credit?
We should debit cash.
Yeah. Credit
For 27,500.
25, 700, 25, 700.
27,500.
Okay. Yeah.
And preferred shares for
Credit
1,100.
Credit preferred shares for 27,500, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Does this make sense?
Yes.
Okay, good. So now let's do the last one. October 1st. So they issue the common shares in exchange for land. What should I debit? What should I credit? So they issue common shares for land. What should I debit? What should I credit?
Credit common shares.
Yeah. Debit?
Land?
Yeah, good. Okay, so now what is the measurement, right? What is measurement here? This is a little bit tricky here because the land's fair value was 60,500, right? So this is the land's fair value. The accountant estimate the fair value of the shares, $6 per share. Okay, so let me write this down. To record the issuance of 11,000 common shares in exchange for land. So the land's value, the fair market value of land is 6,500. What about the shares? The fair value of shares is as high as $6, right? So what is that? So I would use 11,000 common shares times each one $6, have 66,000. So if you go with the perspective of the land, the fair value is estimated to be 60,500. But if you go with the perspective of the value of the common shares, that's expected to 66,000. So now I have two possibilities. Which one should I go with? 60,500 or 66,000?
I will say with the estimation of the land.
You go with the estimation with the land. Why?
Because the value of shares might fluctuate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And is this a public company or private company?
It's a private company, so it's not in the market.
Yeah, it's not in the market, right? So that make you have a doubt in terms of the $6 per share, right? And plus, this is estimated by the accountant, right? ABC's accountant, right? So I guess I agree with you because I think the land's value is probably more reliable. And also we mentioned that we go with the eyesight given up, or we go with the eyesight acquired, received. I think we go with the eyesight received, right? Which is the land. So I agree with you. In this case, I'm going to go with 6,500. Does that make sense, Anna?
Sort of, but how, I mean, how do you know, like in other examples, like how do you determine that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So remember in the one last week, I go through the question with you guys on the board, right?
Uh-huh.
That question, that company was actively trading the shares, right? Do you remember that question? So that's a company that they have like actively trading on their shares, right?
Oh, okay, okay.
So, but that shares that would reflect the market value, right? Because people are buying, selling frequently, so that price can be found on the market, right?
Okay.
But in this case, it's just accountant estimation, right? And it's ABC, their own company's accountant's estimation.
Mm.
So they may have a bias, right? And they said might, right? First, they say might, right? Be as high as. So $6 is kind of the upper limit, right? If you really read the sentence, the fair value of the shares issued might be as high as $6 per share. So the $6 is the upper limit, right? It's not the average. And also this is expressing in the in right might. So but the land value, fair value estimated. So I think my sense is that 6,500 is more reliable. Plus, if you use efforts, you probably go with the eyesight received, right? So in
Yeah.
this case, you receive the land, so you go with that. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, I got it.
Okay, awesome. So now we are going to calculate the average per share share amount for the common shares. So really important, we're only dealing with the common shares for the second part of the question. So calculate the average per share amount for the common shares, okay? So how do I calculate the average, right? So common shares, average price for common shares, that equals total money spent on common share divided by the number of shares acquired or issued. Total money obtained from issuing common share. So this is how you calculate the average, right? So what's the total amount of money you received from issuing all these common shares? So that's the dollar amount. And then divided by what's the total number of common shares issued? So then the division will tell you the average price, the average issuing price. Does this make sense?
Yes.
Good. Anna, Sebastian?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Can you hear me? Yes?
Yes, does this make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay, so can you guys tell me what is the total amount of money they received from issuing common shares? So January 12th, 275,000 plus the legal fee, right? The legal fee is 6,455 plus June 8th. Should we include
No,
the
that's preferred.
Very good. That's preferred shares, right? It's irrelevant. And then August 1st, 6,500, right? So basically, I'm adding these numbers, right? I'm adding these numbers, right? This is all increase the common shares, right? I'm adding all this, the number you credited to this account, right? You can see. And now, what is the number of common shares issued? How many was issued on January 12th?
Total should be 66.
January 12th,
Oh, January 12th, 55.
55,000. And January 24th,
1,050.
yeah, and
11,000.
11,000. Okay, so if you do the calculation, please tell me what is the average price for common share.
$5.
$5? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, well. Yeah, I get $5.10. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good. Yeah. So yeah, this is my solution to question number 8. Okay. Is there anything else you guys want to go through?